truncheons.
Truncheons, that's right. It's alive. It's 80s goth day.
The AC/DC throws my look off a little bit. But,
yeah, man.
you know,
it throws it on, bro.
It was the tightest.
Yeah, so everybody take your shoes off and start stomping.
We'll go into the winery, and then I'll show you how we use a little thing called a refractometer.
So this is measuring sugar or fruits.
First,
Great core workout if you're looking to, you know, get that upper abdominals and some back.
23 are in these tanks, the 22s are in the barrels, and we are just crammed and looking for space all the time.
So we have to get everything really straight and has to be on there in a certain way. Yeah, each barrel produces about 25 cases or 300 bottles. There's a lot of wine here. Originally, when this winery was built, my dad and I framed it in 1988, and then we opened to the public in '89. There's another vineyard right down there that's all planted in Gewurz, and that is what we planted in 1978.
He's the only Gewürztraminer producer in the valley. That says something.
Down here. This is Tempranillo.
Delicious.
Now there are different clones of Tempranillo, just like there are different clones of pretty much every wine grape. And this is clone 01. And it's called 01 because it was the first clone of Tempranillo that came into this country. So we have clone 01 and we have clone 02. So we've been growing Tempranillo now since 2004. One of the things that I look at are the seeds, right? And so you've got some green seeds. Seeds are getting browner. When the seeds get totally brown, that's one of the indicators that the fruit is ready.
Right.
Oh,
So yeah, this is what 1.67 tons of grapes looks like after they're pressed.
Whoa. Reduced down
1.67 tons.
Yeah.
Is in one of the bins?
No, this is
all together.
all of
But
this.
that reduced down to this.
Yeah,
Wow.
pressed out.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen the gallonage on the tank yet. But like general, we'll get like one between, depends on the variety, but 150 gallons to 170 gallons ish per ton of fruit.
Harvested our estate Pinot Noir today. The Pinot Noir, depending on the year and the ripeness of the fruit, we do a Pinot Noir fermentation with a certain percentage of whole cluster. And the reason that we do the whole cluster is we find and have found over the years that those stems in there kind of give a really nice aromatic component to the Pinot Noir. We do everything by hand.
So you've been up early.
Yeah.
You
Since before the sunrise.
yeah, you're the early birds out there.
Exactly.
And these are the stems, right?
The stems that were taken out, so this is going through the destemmer.
Yep.
Big cage with a bunch of holes in it, and a screw that spins the other direction. And that screw pushes those stems all the way through. Berries drop into the bin, stems drop into here.
Beautiful. The drum spins one direction, the paddles spin the other, and they whap, 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 whap. All those amazing berries off the stems, and that's how you get this, percentage of stemmed to destemmed fruit. And what do you do with this stuff?
This goes into the vineyard and we compost it.
Yeah, okay.
Having a look, that's about 320 pounds worth of just whole cluster. So what we'll do is we'll then crush the grapes right on top of that, of the stemmed ones anyway.
Cool. And this is the press. Yeah, so this is a pneumatic press, huh?
Yeah, so it's a black press. Until,
and it turns, and that's the maceration?
Well, it's not really macerating, but what it will do is like crumble itself. So it's like, you get like a wet pile of grapes. So it'll just slowly rock those back and forth and try to get them broken free. And that's, it'll press again.
That's the free run. Right?
Well, the free run would be like when we put it in the press.
Yeah.
And like when you dump this thing, like the juice comes flying out. That's true free run.
Right.
But this is incremental pressure.
Yeah.
The max is like 1.5 bar on this thing.
Okay.
But it doesn't do that.
It's real gentle.
It's fairly gentle. Yeah.
You gotta circle up right in here. So this is called a refractometer. Just gonna look through there real quick. All right. So what we do is I can take a grape and I take a little bit of juice on the lens. All right. Okay. And then I'll pass this around, and you look through here. Okay. So you're gonna see a white area and then a purple or a blue area, and across that, at that break is a number, and that number is 20. So that tells us how many bricks are in the juice.
So this is measuring sugar or bricks.
First harvested, because as soon as you pick it, you have started the process. The winemaking process has started. And there are a few absolute truths in wine, very few, but one of them is once you start that process, you can't stop it. There's no going back. You cannot put those grapes back on there.
That's true in a lot of things in life.
He has a particular yeast that they've tested here that's part of his winery. You want to explain that to them?
Yeah, so about 20 years ago, there was a research student at the local university, and her thesis project was looking at yeast, particularly wine yeast. Well, we're the oldest winery in this region, and so we've had more wine yeast in this room here than anyone else. And so what she did is she took juice samples and she placed 6 or 8 of them different areas around the winery. Let them sit for 2-3 weeks, took them back to a lab and looked at what were the yeast that were in there. And there was one yeast in particular that sort of was the most prevalent. Well, there's a yeast DNA bank. I didn't know this either. Okay, wow. And so what she was able to do is she sequenced the DNA of that particular yeast and then ran it against all the known yeasts that have been sequenced so far in the world, and that one didn't exist.
Wow. So Eric's wine will always taste different than any other wine that had a grape.
Because of that.
Yeah. 45 years ago, we planted good firs, and we grew it for 10 years until we had our first crush in '88.
Wow. So this is your 88 vintage.
So the first year that we produced wine, this is what our label looked like, and my parents labeled the first 100 of them.
Grab that.
Right. And so there were 100 bottles from the first run, and they put their signatures on each of them. A couple evenings ago, we had our 35th anniversary dinner, and so we went and opened a few of these to pour for guests. I happened to have a little bit left over, so I wanted to pour for you guys our 88th anniversary.
Wow, that is very
So this is a 35-year-old white wine, which you don't get to try every day.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Don't get that calorie.
That's special.
That's so exciting.
They're all very special to me because it was my parents that had the courage to start this. Because when my dad was talking to people about what he was going to do, they said, "You're crazy. You know, it's never really been done here in the Ashland area. You can't grow good grapes here. You'll never make good wine, and nobody's ever going to travel to Southern Oregon for wine."
Yeah, right.
They were
said
wrong.
That about Napa too. In this
Exactly.
episode. Right.
And so at a certain point, I realized that, you know, when someone does something for the first time, something that hasn't been done by anyone else, they're often called crazy. And he was. People
Courageous.
said,
I like
"John,"
that word better.
yeah, exactly. They said, "You're crazy," right? But then afterwards, once someone cuts a path, right, and sort of shows people that it's possible, you know, and people see that you can actually succeed at this, they quit being called crazy and they start to be called pioneers. And that's what my dad is in the industry in this area.
Crazy
pioneer. Crazy pioneer. Property's only 10 acres.
10 acres.
Yeah, and so we've always
And
had.
what did he do before he planted?
My father was a minister for about 25 years.
And he didn't drink.
He wasn't a farmer.
They don't drink. Presbyterians
well,
don't drink.
He did. Trust me.
There was like a dream. That was so special. Thank you so much.
It's awesome. It's fun to always talk about, you know, where we've been, but it's also exciting to think about where we're going to go.
Yeah, and one of my, you know, not to get too philosophical, but I think a good wine, its mark is its ability to transport,
100%.
rather than convince you of something. And I think that was amazing. Thank you.
And well, in wines, you're never truly in control because the thing that really is in control is the weather. So therefore, you're always in a state of compromising. And the art of wine is to do it as intelligently as possible. So this relates to your question in that we do have some vineyards that are almost ready to pick. And today, we have to make a decision. Do we pick it before the frames, or do we wait and pick it after? So that's going to be our, hopefully, an intelligent compromise, where we're going to harvest, and they received almost an inch of rain, and it's about 100 acres worth. And so they hired a helicopter to fly in, and it flew just ahead of the mechanical harvester at about 30 feet off the parade drive, and it just blew all the water off. It was pretty impressive.
And then wintertime, we're gonna push all the way to October, end of October, for our Nebbiolas and our Italian varietals. So we'll be right on top of them. We're starting to leaf. We'll start pulling all the leaves off. So we want the fruit just hanging in air, basically, on one side of the vineyard. We make sure we protect them from the afternoon sun. So we'll only let them get morning sun. But then also we want to be able to get any rain off, and then we want them to be able to have a lot of air to keep any molds down.
So that's all hand done removal
Yeah.
of leaves?
I had a guy out there for 3 days just pull leaves. And we start, we pull enough leaves also to make the picking effective, because we don't mechanically pick, we hand harvest. Yes, for sure. For sure, if we start seeing a lot of rain in the forecast, then we will start leafing more aggressively to get,
Makes sense.
you need airflow to keep mold from setting in. Yeah, and it depends on clusters. We'll also go through and we'll start dropping, and we'll actually drop fruit. If you have bunches of fruit that are bunched together, you don't want that. You're better off to drop one of those clusters than to lose all the clusters. That makes sense.
Hand sorting. Yeah, optical sorting.
Well, everything is hand sorting here. Yeah, he does all hand sorting. Yeah, optical. Oh, that doesn't look good.
And is that in the name of like low yield, or that would be done earlier if you were going to try to do some low yield stuff?
Yeah, if you're trying to do low yield stuff, which we do on our Nebbiolo. When we do our Nebbiolo, it's only one cluster per shoot. Okay, and that particular varietal for us is cane pruning. So we run up a brand new cane every year, and then we cut the cordon and we lay a fresh cane down. All of our Nebbiolo is off of a 1-year-old spur.
Wow.
And then it's only one cluster per. That's the only way we've been able to get the Nebbiolo to ripen Otherwise, when we first tried it in the first few years, we couldn't get over 20 bricks. And we're like, oh, this is just not working. But we needed the younger berries to make that happen. And it's been fantastic. Now we're 24. We're right where we need to be. Acids are perfect. A lot of work to get our Nebbiolo up.
What varietal is this?
So you being a Chardonnay?
Oh, Chardonnay?
Yeah.
What are you making this year?
Pinot Noir.
What are you excited about?
Shannon.
Shannon?
Yeah.
Oh, the Shannon from yesterday?
A couple days ago, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So Andy has a label called Goldback, and they have a tasting room in Talent. And so he has his own label. He makes his wine here, and it's really excellent stuff. So definitely go check out Andy's tasting room in Talent. You won't be disappointed.
Also.
Yeah. Okay. So a testavan is like a little.
It's the cup.
It's sort of like a little spoon or something.
No,
Yeah,
it's
so
a-
it's
You wear it
a-
around your neck.
Yeah.
So this is a testavan.
This you get to be a commander, and this is an officer commander. The highest you can have is 3 stripes.
That's in the Tastevin Society, the Chevalier.
Yes.
Okay.
This means you've been to the Clos de Vougeot at least once.
Okay.
I don't see
And has everyone here been to Clos Vougeot?
Everyone here has
George
been to...
hasn't, I
No,
don't-
George
No.
not yet.
But he just.
Chardonnay was great, actually. Really. I loved it.
It starts here. And then let me lead the way. We have both our 22 and 23 now that's coming in. The 23 are in these tanks, the 22s are in the barrels, and we are just crammed and looking for space all the time, and it's like playing a puzzle together. So, as we're making the new wines, we're cleaning barrels, working barrels, doing everything to keep the 22s in good shape.
We ferment in barrel, and when you ferment in barrel, it increases the volume. So we can only fill them up to about 75% of the total volume, but once they're dry, we can consolidate them down. So that's what these 2 rows are right here.
So it's 80s metal day?
Just goth.
Oh, goth. I was like, either everybody has super good style here, or it's 80s goth
The
day.
AC/DC throws my look off a little bit, but
Oh man,
you know,
it throws it on, bro.
It was the tightest shirt I had, so.
On average, we're using 2 years as new, 3
Yes.
years as neutral. Okay. And then they go out the door.
Wow, so cool.
It's alive. It lives.
Cool. Sometimes you put a, what are those called, airlocks? in the
You
top
can
or
put an
something?
airlock in them, but
But then the foam will come up.
it'll still foam over.
Yep, such a treat. What are these called? A ton?
These are truncheons.
Truncheons, that's right.
And I've been, because, you know, it's harvest, we're working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Yes.
Puncheons are the large barrels.
Puncheons.
Truncheons are the barrel fermenters.
Oh, okay, cool. Beautiful.
We're going to go look for some fun wine.
You are cramped the space here.
Oh, rooms everywhere.
Yeah.
Do we know what clone this one is, Mike? Meunier.
Oh, Pinot Meunier.
Pinot Meunier.
It's good.
Like champagne. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, so everybody take your shoes off and
Stomp on here.
start stomping.
Some of them have to go in this.
Oh, this is awesome. This is so good to see.
Oh, that's the bear pee.
What's that?
The bear pee.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. It's a sterile environment. Nothing can live in one, which is amazing. Except yeast. Except the good stuff.
Wow, look at all that.
Is a pump over about to happen?
It is.
Yeah, that's exciting.
No.
Oh, I know. I know all about pump overs. Except I'm usually doing this, you know?
We did some of those this morning too.
You gotta eat your Wheaties.
Yeah, I did the first ceremonial one for the year.
Oh yeah. Fun stuff. Beautiful, man. This is so exciting. Well, rock on, guys.
You working on winery this one?
No, I have, you know, stomped my own grapes in a kiddie pool.
I started making wine in the bathtub at one point a long ago.
And anytime I get a chance to get in the back end and talk to you folks, I'm like totally stoked. So
this is a lot of fun.
What's your name?
I'm Brian.
Brian, Nathan.
Nathan, nice to meet you.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Keep rocking out. That's funny. I was like, man, this is my kind of winery. This is like rock and roll winery. You know, even if you dress up for fun as a rocker, it might stick because you might realize, you know, this is actually pretty cool. Like, pretty cool look. Just stick with it.
Peter Sylvain, remember like the Sylvain?
Oh yeah, that's
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
One, two, three. Oh, can you lean in? 2, 3, cheers.
Field for a day, then you bring it in, then I bring it into the winery, let it start to ferment, and then we double it on a basis. So like, I think I doubled it after about 7 days, then again after 3 days, and again about 4 days later. And then as the season goes on the day we crush, or let's say the next day, if I'm going to add 20 pounds to this bin, I take off 20 pounds of uninoculated fruit, add it to my starter, add 20 pounds of starter. So it's sort of almost like sourdough type style. You've got a starter going, and then you're adding and replenishing. Good core workout if you're looking to, you know, get that upper abdominals and some back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this one is, like I said, on its own, so this one's not too hard. You guys want to try it?
Can I try?
Yeah, give it a try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're good at this.
We can accommodate juice of different volumes. They go all the way down to those little 250s, so 8,000, 600, 1,000, 250 gallons. Accommodate, right? And so if the wine itself is a more delicate wine, French oak tends to show itself in a more complementary way, let's say, than American oak is what we've found. I think also a lot of these lots are small, and so trying to work in one American oak barrel is really going to be, you know, it's going to really dominate, right? Whereas it's easier to work in one new French.
Huh.
What makes them stick together?
They just fit together like a puzzle piece.
They're like tongue and groove.
Yeah, well, it's omega, like a puzzle piece, you know, omega sign.
Okay.
So then after you get this, then you we go to a callus room with all these sticks, and the callus room is 90 degrees and 100% humidity for about 2 weeks, and it kind of a scab forms around here, and the roots start coming out of the bottom. And then you pot them, go to the greenhouse, in about 6 weeks, in the middle of June, they're ready to go out to the vineyard.
Crazy.
So that's how we started. Eventually we got a vineyard planted and started making wine way before that. In the 90s, started making wine.
Is that from your
garage
region,
wine?
back in France? You got this equipment? And...
Yeah, I got it in France.
Yeah.
It's a German piece though.
Yeah, wow, that's an amazing piece.
Yeah. Now they're kind of more fancy. They're air run and you just push a button and they don't have to. But this was pretty expensive in the day.